what is your budget? And I'm going to tell you what they will tell you. And that is, we do not have a budget. We are looking out for options in the market. And that's exactly when now most people, they go on a monthly basis. If you are a freelancer, switch on to you throw up this question. So now the conversation is not about the pricing. The convo shifted from price. Those who left at the outro, they always miss out something. It's with literally every video of mine. Okay, so I'm assuming after watching all my content so far, you would have understood how you have to get clients. Now, today in this video, I'm going to talk about what all you need to ask that particular client when you are on a call with them. So if you are in talks with a client and they ask you to jump on a call, or if you are getting on a discovery call or any other sort of call, this video is all about the questions that actually matter and the question which the client actually wants to hear from you. Because there is a criteria for clients to hire. I'll talk about it some other day. So let us get straight into what you should ask your particular clients when you are on a call with them. The first and the foremost question is, you ask the other person, you ask your potential client that the role they are hiring for, was somebody else managing it before? And if they were managing, if they had someone else who was doing that job, why that other person left? Or what was the reason they got fired? Because these are the only two possible reasons when you are filling in someone's shoes. Either the management fired them or the other person who was doing it before you, they just simply told and asked the client to get rid of them. There is no third possibility. There is literally no third possibility. So you need to ask. And the psych behind asking this question is that you need to know what the client answers, because there is a 50-50% chance. And if the client actually fired the other person, so then now you know what you have to do. Now you know what was the reason the person who was doing it before you was fired. And this brings me on to the next point. And the next point being that you ask the client what is expected of me. Like, for example, if I'm on a client call, I'll simply ask the client that, like, what are you expecting me to do? Because see, this is the thing. When somebody else was doing it before you and that person got fired and the client is hiring now, so the client definitely has certain KPIs. Like KPIs are key performance indicators. So the client has those indicators in his mind. So you need to know what the client is actually looking for. And you also need to know what the other person is expecting when he is hiring you. Because if you do not know this thing, like, how would you work? You don't know what's expected of you. You do not know your key responsibility areas. What and how will you do the whole thing once you join them, in case you join them? The third point is, what is the timeline for the particular thing that you are being hired for? And now there are instances, there are various cases, there are various possibilities depending on the kind of skill set you provide. If you are a writer, it can be, what is the timeline, what is the turnaround time for one blog? If you are a newsletter guy, what is going to be the turnaround time for the newsletters? How often do we post it out? If you are a video editor, you are expected to know like what the timeline looks like. That if the client submits you the first draft today, how long is he expecting you to do that? So what is the time limit under which you have to do that thing? These are all the things that you need to know beforehand. Even if you join the client later on, you need these things, because later on, if something bad happens, if you have a miscommunication, you can actually point out that initially when we started the convo, you had these much expectations. And I'm telling you, problems arise. And they literally arise because of the client's unrealistic expectations. So it's better that you get rid of them in the first place itself. The fourth question, and the most important one, is what are your availability hours? You need to know the time zone that the client is in. And if you have a time zone difference, you need to make sure that you and your client agree on particular times. Because why I'm saying this is, like, most people, they are not comfortable working after 11 p.m. Indian Standard Time. I am that guy. I am willing to work from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. because my body clock and my whole thing and my routine is according to that. Many people are not comfortable with it. So you need to decide that spot, and you need to know when the client is expecting you to be available, because these things, they arise a lot of problem in the coming future. What's going to happen is, so for example, you submitted your first draft, being any skill, and the client has some revisions. He's asking for some revisions, but you have a time difference. So you are right now not available. The client is waiting. And when clients pay and they do not get the work done, they have to wait. They literally hate it. Like I already talked about it in the last video, like about the things that businesses hates. But this is also one thing. They hate it. So you have to figure out a sweet time slot where you and your client, you both are available, and you at least know that when you have to be available, so you are mentally prepared and you can block your calendar accordingly, because you also have tons of things to do apart from this one client. Now the next question is in continuation to the first question, and that is what all they have done till now for that particular role that you are being hired for. Because here also there are two cases. Number one is the role is absolutely fresh, the company is fresh, and they do not have a single piece of work out from your role. So if you are going as a marketing manager, it is a possibility that the company is fairly new and they are just looking out for a marketer who can start things off. And second possibility is they already had somebody, they already did something, and the other person, the person who was working before you, was not able to deliver. And as a result, he got fired or they got rid of him. So you need to know, in case if they have tried something in the past, what all they have actually tried, and ask them why it didn't work out. Because this is really necessary. If you are a video editor, you need to know what all styles your client has done in the past, what is best performing, what are the least performing, what are the indicators he is looking for, and all that stuff. If you are a marketer, you need to know what all strategies, what all campaigns, what all the other paid stuff, or what all they have done in the past, so you do not actually replicate it. And in case you want to replicate it, you know why it failed the last time. So it's just like when you go to a doctor, the doctor asks like, have you treated this thing before? So it's like if you have visited another doctor, you pull out that prescription, you tell this doctor that okay, I was taking these meds but these weren't effective enough, so now I need another treatment. So that's how it is here. You are the doctor. You need to know what all they have done so far in the past so that you can take a step forward into the future. The next question is, and this is where most of your clients are going to be very defensive or aggressive. This is one question where you have to be very, very alert. You have to see the body language. You have to see what kind of the tonality the client is using, how they are approaching it, and what all their intents are. And this question, yes, you guessed it, it is about budget. And with budget, most of the clients, no matter if they're too aggressive with their marketing or too aggressive with whatever they are bloating and telling, when it comes to budget, majority takes a step back. And that is exactly what you have to see. You have to ask that person like, what is the budget for this particular role? And in case if your role is like a marketer, like I work as a marketer, so I need to know the marketing budget, because without that I cannot proceed. Like if you are a video editor, you might not need that. You just simply need to tell your quote and you want to know the client's budget, that whether he can afford you or not. So if you are somebody like a video editor or a content writer or someone else who has a price for the services, and you do not need to make any expenses on the client's behalf, just ask the client, what is the maximum that you are willing to pay for this particular role? What is your budget? And I'm going to tell you what they will tell you. And that is, we do not have a budget. We are looking out for options in the market. And that's exactly when you have to tell your price. Do not keep your price for the very end. Do not discuss the pricing on very end stages. Keep it as a filter. You need to know, and you by now, if you have been following me, you know what your prices are, you know what is your hourly rate, and you know all the other stuff. All right, so just tell the budget. Ask them what their budget is, and if you cannot fit into that budget, like this is a separate video that I'm going to make, but right now I'm just gonna give you a hint. If the thing is about budget, like your budget is $2,000, like you charge $2,000 and the client has a budget of $1,500, do not leave that client for those $500. Try to work something out by cutting down your price to 1,500. You can cut down the deliverables, you can cut down the turnaround time or anything else. Like I told you, I'll make it in a separate video because it is one in itself, it is a lesson. It's gonna be a huge video of 20 to 30 minutes. So if you want it, just write down in the comment section that I want it. So I know that you guys actually want it, and because the last few videos they haven't been performing that good, so I don't know, man, like shit has been going south. So just write it down in the comment section so I actually know that there are people watching and I am still able to deliver something from this end of the screen. So please do it. Now, once you know the budget, the next question that you are gonna ask them, it is going to be about what all are the qualities that you are looking for in the person that you are going to hire. Because what happens is, these people, like once you talk them about the budget and there is something that is going on and off, you throw up this question. So now the conversation is not about the pricing. The convo shifted from price to value proposition, because the client knows, if he has a past experience, a past history of bad experience, he's going to tell you the qualities he's looking for. It could be the person that I'm going to hire, he should be punctual, he should adhere to the guidelines, he should be available in case of emergencies, he should be somewhere around like nearby our time zones, and he should be like he should take initiatives for himself, on himself. He should not wait for us to go ahead, he should put on his ideas, he should not be someone that we are chasing for work. All these qualities, and now you have to make yourself position there like as you are the best person, best possible fit for the job, and tell them. And then after that, when you go on to the pricing part, after these qualities, you can simply say that, like in the earlier example I told you, the difference was of $500. The client has a budget of 1,500, you charge 2,000. So ask the client, so like, if I bring all these qualities to the table alongside a very good and verifiable track record of delivering consistent results to other people in the same domain as yours, don't you think it is going to be worth spending $500 extra at the moment and get the best possible person on your side? When you tell the client this thing, the whole convo has now shifted, the dynamic has changed. And you might think that this is fancy and this is all, it's good to hear, but it's not practically possible. No, it is practically possible. I have gotten on client calls, I have tried this thing myself, and it works. And it only works because I actually back the fuck up. I actually back it up with the results, with the work. Because if they want, like, if their qualities were like, we want the person to be available for us, I am there. I revert to their text within 10 to 15 minutes at max. So you gotta back it up. But ask them the qualities they are looking for. So you also know, like the people who have deep pockets, what they are looking for. The more people, the more potential clients you interact with, the more your personality, the more your communication, and the more your brain gets opened up. Now, coming on to the last point, and this is going to be the end point of the conversation also with your client. That is, what is going to be the payment frequency? Now, I'm going to make a video about payment, sales, and negotiations in the coming future. But do let me know about the earlier one, that which I asked you a few minutes back. Okay, if you haven't written it down in the comment section, like, do write it down good. So you need to ask them the payment frequency. Now, most people, they go on a monthly basis. If you are a freelancer, I suggest, and I deeply suggest you, switch on to weekly payments or bi-weekly payments. The reason is, you are a freelancer, you have expenses to bear. Now, I don't know about you, but being a marketer, I gotta make investments for any project that I take upon. I need to take some tools dedicated to that project. I need to take a few subscriptions. I need to buy a few widgets and all that stuff from my end. So I need that money. I can't wait for straight 30 days, because that's going to hamper the other person's project and I don't want to do it. So you put out these things in front, tell them that since I'm in the service-based business, I would really prefer to get payments on a weekly basis or on a bi-weekly basis. You can also take per project or other things, but I would say go with weekly basis. That's the safest and it is actually beneficial. Now, about the payment modes, I made a separate video, because if you take weekly payments and you take it through PayPal, so be ready to lose 6% on every payment that you get. So yeah, that is pretty much it. And that's quite it for the video. It became longer as usual. But yeah, if you follow all these things and you get on a client call and you literally like make a list of these questions, write it down on your notepad. And if you are not taking a notepad on your client call, you are reducing your chances of being hired. I'm telling you, and I'm dead serious when I say this. If you do not sit with a notepad and a pen, you are literally out of the race. 50%, your chances are already lowered by 50%. Notepad and taking notes during the call is actually important. You may not have written anything on the notepad, but if you look down the notepad and you say things, the client is going to feel good. The client will take you seriously. So if you look down the notepad and you say, like, I have researched about your project and these are the few concerns and queries that I would like you to answer for me. So in order I can, bring the best of my skill set onto the table. So please answer these questions. And then you pull up with these questions. You ask the client these questions and he's going to be more than happy. Because with most clients, the thing is, yeah, I told you the video got over, but those who left at the outro, they always miss out something. It's with literally every video of mine. So if you ask these clients these 8 questions, they're going to be impressed, because most of the times, and this is from my personal experience being a client myself, most of the time freelancers are just agreeing with me. They want me to continuously speak on the call, whereas I want the other person who is going to be working with me, I want him to speak with me on the call. I want to know what kind of person he is, what he's doing, what he's bringing onto the table. Notepad, pen, these 8 questions, ask it. And even if then you do not get a client, you do not land the client, my socials are in the description. My LinkedIn is there, my Twitter is also there, and my Instagram is also there. Write me there and tell me what happened. And I'm gonna personally make sure that I fix that thing of yours. So this was a bonus for somebody who watched it to the very end. So that is pretty much it for this video. And in continuation, if a client asks you for a free sample, even before you get on a call with them or something like that, and they just like your work and they want you to send the free sample, watch this video right here and send them that free sample if you meet the criteria I mentioned in this video.